G'day legends. So Jon Jones had a bit of a Twitter meltdown yesterday, and today we're going to be going over it because it seems like Jon Jones and Dana White are in this together. The whole narrative of why Jon Jones should be fighting Stipe Miocic instead of Tom Aspinall seems to be crumbling around them daily on the internet, and I think they're both feeling the pressure, okay? Look, Dana White, not 2 weeks ago, after UFC 302, and the entire broadcast of his company, which he claims nothing goes onto that TV screen unless it passes his desk first. During that entire broadcast, the UFC are calling Islam Makhachev the number one pound-for-pound contender in the world, the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. In fact, when you go to his own website, UFC.com, they have Islam Makhachev as the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So they ask, how do you reckon Islam Makhachev stacks up against all the lightweights? And Dana White goes on this tirade about how great Jon Jones is and how you have to be crazy to not believe in Jon Jones. Nothing to do with Islam Makhachev. So he's clearly feeling the pressure. He's clearly got Jones on the mind for some reason. But then this weekend at UFC Louisville, whatever. At UFC Louisville, Dominic Reyes finally gets a win, and the entire MMA community is so happy for him. This guy's been through so much. We all just wanted to see him finally get one win, and he did. Well done. Everyone was stoked, except for our boy, Jon Jones. Reyes finally gets his win, goes on the Ariel Helwani show, and he says, in reference to Jon Jones, forever he'll also be known as the guy that lost to me. Maybe we can figure it out one day. It's not a belief, it's a fact. That's Dominic Reyes talking about the win that he did get over Jones. Well, this sent Jones into one of his classic Twitter spirals. He went and instantly posted, "What a claim to fame, almost beat Jon Jones, got full of myself and literally couldn't win another fight after that." Pretty harsh considering what Reyes has been through. But what's funny about this is that there is so much freedom of information now just floating around the internet that you can really see just how badly Dominic Reyes was robbed against Jon Jones. And like that message of it can just be signal boosted. It makes it so much harder for somebody like Jon Jones, who's always just skirted the lines and always hidden behind a good narrative. Straight away when Jones posted his reply, a legend jumps on Twitter and points out how many people actually picked Dominic Reyes winning that fight or scored Dominic Reyes winning that fight. It's just constant. Every time he says something, people are constantly reminding him of how he's ducking Tom Aspinall, how Dominic Reyes technically beat him, of all the steroid abuse. Him and Dana White sat there months ago, or maybe him and Hunter Campbell sat there months ago, and they thought that they were going to be able to build up Jon Jones's legacy and that he could ride off into the sunset. He thought he was going to be able to live the kind of life where he could beat the piss out of his wife whenever he wants and get away with it, win a fight by using wrestling against a Muay Thai striker, knock out somebody's retired firefighter grandpa, and then ride off into the sunset with the entire MMA community kissing his feet and constantly telling him how great he is. But that isn't happening, is it? No. Instead, it's everyone in the MMA community calling him a duck, and because of the MMA guru's recent videos, they're also saying that his favorite place to go at his nightclub is down a dark alleyway, and the nightclub is called the Meat Stick. I am not exactly sure this is the end to his legacy that he wanted, and I think it really is breaking him inside, right? It's very well known that Jones has a fragile ego. He's even been caught sliding into fans' DMs in the past just to brag about how much money he makes and how many mansions he owns. This tweet went up and it went around the internet, and DC came out and said, look, I have gone back and forth with Jones a lot of times, and this reads exactly like a Jon Jones DM. So we're hearing from the master Jon Jones troll himself, DC. Now, I don't know about you, right? But if I have deep grounded self-confidence, I really don't care that much about what someone else thinks about me, right? Like, there are people out there who probably think I'm an arrogant dick, don't think that I am that funny at all, probably take what I say way too seriously. And that is fine, because not everybody's personalities mix. Not everybody has to get along with everybody. But I'm not going to waste my time sliding into some hater's DMs just to brag about how much money I do or don't make if I did make a lot of money. I would just go ahead living my life. Like, do you really need to realize that somebody as successful and as busy as Jon Jones, he must have a huge, huge ego, a huge crack in his ego to need to go and reply to the fans individually. And then we see a couple of weeks later, he's breaking down even more because now all the fans think that he's a bottom in the bedroom. Of the week, he spent an entire day replying to people on Twitter. You would think that he would be busy in the gym, you know, wake up early in the morning, have a big breakfast, get in some stretching, maybe a sauna, then have a massive training session, have a shower, then go do some business in the afternoon, maybe pop in for a second training session, and then go home and check up on the wife, you know? This is something that you should be doing if you are a world-class athlete that has to defend the heavyweight title in like 3 or 4 months. But instead, he goes on Twitter and starts tearing Dominic Reyes apart because Dominic finally got a win. And everyone is reminding Jon Jones about the win over him, and it's tearing him apart, right? Now, Jon Jones goes on to reply, and he says, so now I vacated because everyone wanted the rematch. I love you guys and your little narratives. People say that I poke people in the eyes, that my arms are longer, that I'm bigger than everyone else. I must pay the judge. I'm ducking. No one's in their prime when they fight me. Keep them coming. That's what Jones said. The thing is, all of those are pretty much true, right? Jon Jones did do his favorite move and ran away from Dominic Reyes, right? While he was busy building himself up to heavyweight, while Francis Ngannou was the heavyweight champion. But Jon Jones wasn't ready to fight at heavyweight then, right? And then when Francis Ngannou did finally leave the division, Jones was ready to come back with his 20 pounds of lean muscle that he had put on over 2.5 years. Did that really look like lean muscle to you? So he ducked Reyes, then he ducked Francis, and now even just without an excuse, he is actively ducking Tom Aspinall. He's gotten so good and used to ducking fighters, he can't even be bothered to come up with an excuse for this one. Oh, and as for the eye pokes, he does eye poke people during fights. He has admitted to it himself. Then he spent the rest of the day yesterday just rallying around people who were backing him up. And there are so many people backing him up, telling him how great he is, calling him king, calling him a GOAT. I can't believe how many people would rally behind a sportsman who cheats by poking their opponents in the eye, an athlete who cheats by constantly getting popped for steroids, someone who calls themselves the greatest of all time while constantly ducking their biggest opponents, a dad who goes home and beats the living piss out of his wife, and the kind of person who crashes into a pregnant woman and then goes back to the scene of the crime to make sure that his weed is okay. How are people rallying around somebody like that? It is insanity, and they're calling him a king. It is unbelievable. Screw Jon Jones. Fight Tom Aspinall. You duck. Why am I making this video? So that it is very, very clear that Jon Jones is not a good person, has a fragile ego, and does not deserve to end his career as being called the greatest heavyweight of all time because he knocked out a 50-year-old Stipe Miocic when the new young gun up-and-comer is right there in the rankings and has a belt. The whole point of the UFC is that the best is to fight the best. And if you think you're not the best anymore, then retire at that point. Don't get one more legacy fight and then say, I'm too good to fight that kid. See you later and bail. It's nuts. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, leave a like. Let me know down there in the comments, is that too harsh on Jon Jones? Does he deserve to have the Stipe fight? Let me know why down there. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, so if you really enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Every single one matters. I'm trying to get there before July 15th. Until then, you'll have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.